We're in. All right, guys, happy Friday, October 13th. For all you superstitious people out there that aren't doing certain things because it's October 13th or Friday the 13th, I get it. I understand. But for the people that are still out there, taking action, do whatever you have to do. Shout out to you guys. So hopefully you guys have an amazing morning. I'm coming to you live, coming to you excited. I'm coming to you on the, days away from taking this big giant trip. So I am absolutely excited. I'm elated and I am ready to go and just vacate. Not that I don't enjoy everything that I do, but I've never been away for this long. So I'm very excited to go and take this trip. So today we're going to talk about a couple things. I'm going to try something new today. I'm going to try to do some breakout rooms in just a minute. So bear with me. But before we get rolling, before we get started, I want to turn the mic over to somebody, as always, in true fast form, to bring the crew out on the field on this beautiful Friday morning. I'm looking around the room. I'm actually going to go to Aaron Crisp. Aaron Crisp, I don't know if you've done this before, big dog, but you've been here enough times to know how that flow works. So Aaron, you're taking the field out, or taking the team out on the field for battle. So let's go, bro. Let's hear from you and share your sentiment with the team this beautiful morning.
Right on. I have not done this, so my heart started racing.
No pressure.
Yeah, I started racing immediately. I am, jockeying with doubt and self-doubt and just going through some things where I'm trying new stuff, but I'm a little fearful. And so I have to say that I appreciate the team altogether because I'm watching. I'm seeing people like Ryan doing stuff, Jessica Hernandez, Jessica Alfaro. I'm going to the office and I'm getting that inspiration from them, even though I'm scared myself and even though I'm doubtful. The watching the team and watching what people are doing is inspiring me. And so I want to say, everybody, even if there's doubt creeping in, keep going, keep doing things, keep being inspired by the team, because that is what I feel the most thankful for, being part of this group.
Wow. You guys, let me ask a question. Let's just be real. How many people at any time or currently experience any type of doubt or trepidation or maybe even negative talk? Is that something that happens? And so, hey, Aaron, you're not alone, bro. You're not alone. But there's a differentiator there, right? The differentiator is I can either sit and I can be idle and I can rest in my thoughts and that fear, or I could say, you know what, despite, I'm still going to show up. And I think that you're doing a really good job at that. And it reminds me of my journey in this business. And I'm going to tell you guys a quick story. So it's about 8 years ago, about 8 years ago, I'm working for a marketing company in the Bay Area. I'm running all of their road shows. And I had my license since 2009. So I practiced real estate. I had worked in Carmel for a timeshare company, but it was time for me in the Bay Area. I moved here from Tahoe. I wanted to hang my license. And so I went and hung my license, or I asked to hang my license at Coldwell Banker at the time. Well, in my meeting with the director, who's still my good friend, he told me I wasn't a good fit for Coldwell Banker. I'm like, okay, cool. Tell me more. Then this fire alarm went off and we had to evacuate out of the building. Hold on. That's a whole nother story. But he called me the next day after our conversation. He said, you know what? We're actually hiring, for a leadership role. It's an executive leadership role. And if you're interested, write me an email, go on LinkedIn, all these things that I had to do. And so I wrote him, I did everything that I needed to do, and he offered me the position. And his words were to me, he said, listen, I know you've been in leadership before. I know you have a leadership past, but don't fuck this up. I'm going to give you this opportunity and don't fuck this up. He said, within 7 months, I'm going to make you a world-class coach. He said, but within the first 45 days, you have to put on the biggest event that we've ever seen. You have to do an award ceremony, and I'm not going to help you pull the numbers. You have to introduce yourself. You have to do all the invites. You have to do everything. And he said, great leaders move people. So he said, I'm going to be there just to see how packed that room is and how well that you engage with everyone. Aaron, I didn't know these people. It was the second largest online team in the country for Coldwell Banker. They didn't know me. I'm new to leadership in real estate. I didn't know any of them. I didn't know the Bay Area market. I knew nothing. I came in it blind. And bro, I was so scared, even up to that day. And then someone would come in, hi, Jeff, I'm Elias. Hi, thanks for, hi, Ilona, hi. And then the room started getting packed and started getting packed and started getting packed. And there was standing room only. And I remember him looking and being like, all right. He's like, good job. And I was scared shitless, man. but I did what I needed to do to fill that room, and I just showed up. And so, Aaron, the fact that you're showing up, the fact that you're here, the fact that you're ready and willing to apply the things that you are learning, man, it's sky's the limit for you. So congratulations, face that fear head on. I've done it multiple times in my career. I still get scared. I still get scared that none of you will show up to these meetings. I still get scared every single day, man. So be humble, own that. And I appreciate you sharing. So you guys, we're going to go right in. We're going to go first half. I'm going to share some sentiment with you. I'm going to do a breakout room. I've never done this before, so bear with me. But I want to share some thoughts for what I want you guys to talk about in your breakout room. So Kobe Bryant once said this: it's not about the number of hours you practice, it's about the number of hours your mind is present during the practice. And let me elaborate on this statement. I believe that if you guys are coming to script role play, if you're coming to coaching, this is a moment where you guys should be totally present. And here's what you're looking for. You're looking for one thing that I can actually implement in my life and business that can move me a step higher. That's it. That's all you're looking for. I don't expect for you to retain every single word that is said, every phrase, every comment, every contribution. I don't expect for you to hang on to everything. One thing. So that's part of being present. That's part of being here, cameras on, be involved in the conversation. If your brothers and sisters are talking and they're saying something or dropping knowledge, then be involved in that and be present in that. Because I promise you, everyone on this call has learned something from somebody else on this call. Why? Because they were present and they were open to receive. If you just have this as a background, you're not involved in the moment, you may miss something that can be powerful in your career right now. So I want to encourage you guys to not just come to practice, but be present in the hours that you are practicing and make sure that you're practicing to the highest ability. Because all I want for you guys is every session to take one thing. Because think about it. 3, 6, 9, 12. If I learn 12 new things, or I learned something about myself, or something how to better put my mind in a better position to serve clients, that means that I'm 12 points higher than I would have been if I was not involved and engaged in the conversation. Minor tweaks. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I encourage you guys to do, is look for the one. So I want to share some thoughts with you guys because I've been deep in, some of you guys have read this book, The Compound Effect. If you haven't read the book, it's a really easy book to read, but I'm surprised that I hadn't read it up to this point. And so I'm always digesting, right? Digesting. So as we close out this year, I have some thoughts, I have some sentiment that I want to share with everybody. And this is going to be a point of conversation for you guys in your breakout rooms. So I want each of you to discuss your own compound effect. And I want you to think about your life, your physical fitness, as well as your business. When you look back at this last year, as we're kind of reflecting, this is the time where we're planning, we're reflecting, we're looking onward. I want each of you to discuss your compound effect. And what that means is that, let's just take where we're at in the year right now. We're 40 weeks into the year, right? We have a few weeks left, few months left until we close out this beautiful 2023. And so when you think about your compound effect, these are tiny steps consistently, that over time, you guys saw a radical improvement in the way that you look, the way that you behave, and the way that your business is now set up, right? The health of your business. So when you think about it and you think, man, I'll take Otis for an example. If his compound effect was doing 30 hours of fitness every single day, and I'm just using it as an example, maybe his hours or length in the gym is longer than that. But I'll give you an example. Imagine this. Imagine if you are on this call, you are an Otis, and you said, I'm going to do 30 minutes every single day of some type of physical fitness, right? I'm going to walk, I'm going to do push-ups, I'm going to do sit-ups, I'm going to work on my arms, whatever that is. And you did that 7 days a week, and you did that for 52 weeks. The number of physical fitness hours that you have accumulated is 10,920. Now stay with me, right? You've done that amount of physical fitness, which isn't much. Imagine if you did 2 hours, imagine if you did 1 hour, whatever it is. I'm just giving you guys this food for thought and context here. Well, the question to each of you is, how would you look? Right? How would you look when you look in the mirror and you look at your calves? You're like, damn, like those look really good. They look like a horseshoe. How would you feel? right? How would you feel about yourself? And what level of confidence would you have in yourself when you look in the mirror, when you take your shirt off, when you're walking in, when you put on that suit? Like, how would you actually feel? And who is impacted by the result of the confidence that you now have in yourself, right? Who is impacted? Is it your significant other? Is it your romantic life? Is it the way that you walk into a room? Is it your kids? Because now you have that vitality and that energy for them. And how does all of that truly, truly impact the way that you view yourself in business, right? And so you think about these compound effects that now I've stacked over time. There were tiny steps that I've stacked that made a radical improvement on the way that I look, feel, and enter the world and viewed in the world. Because if you've been on a fitness journey, if you've been on an eat healthy journey, or if you've been on this journey to say, you know what, I'm going to take this business by storm and I'm going to elevate all the things that I'm doing in my business. And so here's what I want you guys to do is I want you to reflect. I want you to reflect on what your compound effect has been in this year for your life, for your business, and for your fitness, right? And maybe it's been, man, like my arms are way bigger than they were 6 months ago because I'm doing this workout 4 times a week. Or I committed to making X amount of phone calls. I committed to doing X amount of social media content and look at the effects on my business. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to do something that we've never done because I want all of you guys to get involved in this conversation. I'm going to break you guys into groups. Each of you are going to join a breakout group right now. And you guys are going to ask yourself this question. If you're in that group, get involved. All I want you to do is say, okay, Aaron, what are yours, bro? Let's hear your compound effect. What did you do in your life, in your fitness, and in your business? And what have been the results, right? What have been the results, Stephanie? What have been the results, Ashley? And I want you guys to share. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back as a group and I want to hear from you guys. Maybe you guys nominate a person to share some of the takeaways, some of the thoughts, some of the compound effects. And what I'll do is I'll bounce around through the different rooms, but I'm not going to talk in those rooms. I want this all to be you guys. Can you guys commit to having a conversation amongst each other? Is that cool? Can I get a thumbs up? All right, cool. So let's do this. I'm going to nominate some breakout rooms right now. Let's see. How many people do we have on the call? So we have 41. So let's do 5 breakout rooms. I'm going to create these now. All right, cool. So I'm going to open all rooms. You guys will see what rooms you guys are in. Do you guys see that? You'll see it down below, how to join the group. So go join a room and I want you to have that conversation and I'll see you guys back here in 10 minutes. All right, guys, let's give this 10 minutes, have some fun with it, and we'll see you back in the main room in 10 minutes. Hi, Tyrell, what's up, buddy? How are you? You're muted, bro.
Good morning, Elias. I'm well. How are you?
Good. Hey, I have broken everybody up into think tanks, they're called breakout rooms. I'm going to assign you to a room right now. So just get involved in that conversation. I'm going to plug you in right now.
Thanks.
All right, cool. Just join that room. Left Free, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Elias.
All right, cool. So I'm going to add you to a breakout room. We have 5 breakout rooms going on right now. So I'm going to have you enter a breakout room to join the conversation, okay?
Okay, thanks,
Hang
Elias.
tight. Here we go. And then we'll come back in just a few minutes. Boom. There
Okay.
you go. Go ahead and hop in that room. All right, guys, 5 more minutes and we'll go ahead and head back. Hi, good morning, Michelle. Hi, good morning, Celeste. How are you guys?
Hi, good. Just dropped my boys off at school.
All right, that's right. Good morning, Celeste. Hey, you guys, we are in breakout rooms right now. These are conversations that are happening right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to assign both of you guys to breakout rooms. So go ahead and enjoy that conversation and get involved. So I'll assign you first, Michelle. Here you go. And then Celeste, I'm going to assign you to a room as well. There you go.
Thank you.
You see, I find that this is super powerful because now you get to get everybody involved and they're all having the conversation together. So it's not just about me having a presentation. This needs to be a collaboration of thoughts, ideas, and everyone needs to share. And I feel the best way to get people to share is to put them in a room together. So I'm excited to see what comes from this. Welcome back, Marcelina. Welcome back, everybody. All right, let me give it a second for everyone to come back in the room. Just takes a second for everyone to get here. What's up, Cortez? What are we shopping for today? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Just a few household things.
Okay. All right. All right. 28 seconds, you guys, and we'll go ahead and get right back into our main session here. All right. 30 seconds, 13 or 13 seconds, excuse me. Close in 7 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. All right, guys, we are back in full swing. Thanks for coming back. I popped into some of the rooms, and what I was hearing was some really, really powerful stuff. And so when we talk about the compound effect, marginal gains, tiny things done consistently over time that can radically improve your life, business, health, fitness, romance, all of those things, right? And so I'm glad that you loved it. Let's hear from a couple leaders from each of the groups. Feel free to just, if you raise your hand, if you want to be the representative from that group, it's all good. We'll just go around the room. Christina, first off, let's go to you. Tell me some of the things that you heard from your particular pod, from your breakout room.
You know, it's so funny. A lot of us were doing very similar, starting our mornings off with exercise. I know for myself, I was saying how you start the day off on that routine, and you're less likely to procrastinate throughout the day because you started it off, you put your mind to it, and you did it. And it was so funny because I think everybody pretty much in our group agreed and said the same thing, and it just starts them off on a really good boost. So that was really cool.
So let me ask you this, Christina. When didn't you? Like, when did this happen? Like, when did you start that, like that compound effect of like, I'm going to get up a little bit earlier, I'm going to work out as much as I don't want to? Like, how long ago?
You know, what's funny? I would say in the last year. I know a lot of people on this call always talk about exercise, and I was like, and like the stubborn Portuguese girl inside of me is like, I'm going to do it in the afternoon. Okay, that works for you, but I'm going to do it in the afternoon. And then I started to catch myself that in the afternoons when phone calls would be ringing and life and kids. And then I was more stressed out doing it in the afternoon. I was like, why am I doing this to myself? So then I started doing it in the morning, and I would see like Otis working out at the gym, like people working out. And I'm like, okay, I can do this too. And now I feel so much better, and I'm less likely to put things off because I'm like, no, like you were able to get through this in the morning. What else? Like, let's keep knocking out our tasks and goals that we want to do.
Love it. Love it, you guys. So compound effect, let's continue this conversation. Make sure to raise your hand if you want to represent from your group. Otis, that little hand on your ear, that's got to be the cutest thing. Let's go, Jess. Jess, represent from your group. And then we'll keep cruising on. I think there was 4 or 5 groups. Let's go, Jess.
Oh my gosh, Elias, I know that this is your coaching sessions, but I would love to do this more because it gives us an opportunity to get to know some of our team members on a much more intimate basis. And I love this.
Let's reframe that. Let's reframe that. This is your coaching session, right?
Okay, well, thank you, coach.
Hey, I'm the moderator of thought, right? Like, here's the thing, you guys, just say, like, I'm the one that has to be the moderator of thought. You guys control this space. So Jess, this is your set, and I got chills talking about this. So let's hear it. Let's hear it. Let's do more of this. 100%. I agree. Let's give you the mic back. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I think that we have a lot of things in common as far as just wanting to be 1% better. And I think that it was kind of a common thing too, that in our group, God was mentioned. And so just God speaking to us and leading us into the direction of which we're supposed to be led, and just being obedient and surrendering to what that is. And I think that it's no coincidence that we all ended up in the same group and that we can all help feed each other, but just the small behaviors on a daily basis. And you actually hit on it, Elias, where it's like, we're not supposed to take away fucking 50 different things that we're supposed to do from these training sessions. Our goal is to take away one of those things and make it a compound effect. And it sounded like, just from my perspective in our group, that a lot of us are working on pouring into ourselves now because we pour into so many other people.
Totally. I love that.
Right?
I love
everybody that was on there, Jessica.
I love this. I love this. So let's, and I'm gonna go to Otis in a second, and whoever else's groups are not represented, please get involved in this conversation before we, go to the different topic. But imagine this from a business context. Imagine if you made just 20 calls a day, 5 days a week, right? And you did that for 52 weeks. Well, what does that equate to? That's 5,200 calls that you've made for the year. What does that do for your business, right? What does that do for your business? Say you did 5 times 52, 5 videos every single week for 52 weeks. Like, what does that do for the amount of impressions, the amount of followers, the amount of people that get to see your beautiful face? Imagine the impact that has on your business. So when we talk about the compound effect, I'm talking about the little tiny things that over time you're like, oh my God, You guys, I set out to make 1,000 pieces of content in 2023 to lead by example and to share my voice, right? That was a goal of mine. And now I look back at the impact that that's had on my business and my reach and the people that I've been able to meet. Huge, huge. So let's go to Otis, then we'll go to Ophelia. And then if any other group was not represented, and if you just hopped on, I know Dominique just hopped on. I know Vanessa's just hopping on. We just got out of our breakout rooms. And so it was actually a pretty fun experience. Let's go Otis. Let's go Ophelia. Let's go Deep Bledsoe. Let's go Otis.
My son's been actually doing that since he was 3 months old. That's like how he falls asleep, but he still does it like when he's up and stuff too. He's always pulling on the ears.
Well, I do this one.
He be pulling the shit out of my stuff too. But I don't know if that was by fate or by calculation by you, but the people that you put me in the room with were people that I know and people's stories and help that helped me as an agent, and just hearing some of them. I just want to say that group was a group of warriors. You have Will Dangler in there, you have Nicole Penland in there, myself, just the three of us. And even Ryan spoke, and it was so powerful because, I mean, everybody knows what Nicole's going through and her perseverance of not giving up and just pushing forward. I had to give her a flower for myself because there's been times where, you know, I wanted to give up, but I see her being strong and the brisk of everything that she's going through. And I want to sit here and complain about whatever. And I even called some of you guys out, because if this woman's going to get up and do everything that she's doing and not complain about it, then nobody on this call should either. And everything that Will was going through, I didn't know he was going through all of that stuff that was ailing his body and being pretty fucked up like that and banged up. And then myself too, it's just like, no matter what position you are, we had someone else share too, that she's going through all these things and working out and trying to figure it out. It doesn't matter if you're 3 days in, 3 months in, 3 weeks, 3 years. This shit is hard. You have to figure things out. But I think the biggest thing is everybody on this team knows it's the team. It's the ability to be able to get in a breakout session like that and get your feelings and pretty much tell your all and not be judged, and being able to be like, oh, yeah, you're right, Elias, I'm going through that too. Or how did you do that? So not only the insight, but also ways for you to learn how to implement that into your life. But just like Jess said, that group and us in this group of 8 that we were in, it's all about taking care of yourself first, because you're no good to anybody else if you're not good with yourself. So find whatever toolage you need, whatever mindset, whatever depression you need to get out, whatever happiness, and hold on to that. Rely on the team and your loved ones, and you'll be all right.
Really powerful, really powerful. Here's the thing, you guys, and it's no mystery. I'm not cracking the code. I'm not cracking the code. It's been cracked a long time ago. If your business right now is good, in the dumps, or in between, right? All you need to do is you need to evaluate how consistent you have been able to show up in your business. And in that, you'll have all the truth that you need. That's all you'll need. You'll have all the truths in that. And I don't mean consistent for 3 months and then you did something else for 2 months. I mean consistent the whole entire time. Right? How have you showed up? How many phone calls have you made? How many conversations have you had? How many times have you went into the gym? It's not like, oh, I went and worked out for 3 months and hopefully my body looks good. No, it is ongoing. It's not like I showed up for social media because I did an intensity workshop and now the intensity is done and I don't ever post any videos. And it's been since September 19th since I actually posted a video with my face and my voice in it. That's not consistency. Right? So you have to look at it and be like, how consistent have I been? And if I look back at all those things that I've been truly consistent of, what has been the compound effect? Compound effect is, man, I am great on the phones, or man, I'm really, really comfortable now on camera. 8 months ago, I wasn't that good on camera, but I stayed with it, and look at how good I am. Look at how well I do a buyer's consultation today versus last 8 months ago or 8 months ago, because I've practiced on it routinely in order for me to convey a message that is well received by everyone. So the compound effect, life, business, health, and see how it's been truly able to impact you. And it's powerful. That's why this book is so powerful. So Ophelia, let's go to you, Damien, and then we'll shift gears on the conversation. Ophelia, what's good? Talk to us. And Ophelia, I know who you are emotionally. I know how we're connected. So if it's fitness, life, all that good stuff, all I want you to do is also include one thing from a business aspect that's been a compound effect in the results of. So go ahead.
Okay. So in my team, we had a couple, and forgive me, teammates, I may have forgotten some of your names, because I didn't see it on the, well, anyways. I like my team. Damon was in there as well, and everyone had something to say. Some were new, some were going through life changes, but one that really stuck out for me was Gwendolyn. And I mean, I'm hoping that's her name because I looked up her screen name. And this woman has, she's new to real estate, but she endured something, and she told us how and how she's persevering. And it spoke so loud to me because it took me from, hey, life is a gift. We get to wake up every day and we get to choose which way we go. Everyone has, and I appreciate everyone input when they do exercise. I'm still struggling with that. I really still want to do that. I start, I quit, I start, I quit, I start, quit. But today, and even what Otis just said, like Nicole's going through what she's going through, she's persevering, she's showing up, just showing up to any gym or anything, that already, if you do 1 mile or you do something, you showed up and you're just consistent, just showing up, putting on your shoes, walking there, and then going back home, you're going to compound that. And then this woman, she overcame, and she is so grateful. And it's not about a physical appearance, like she said, it's the fact that she's able to move. And I said, that's right. We are able to move. We have a gift that we wake up in the morning, we stretch, we roll out of bed, and we go about our day, but we're not so at least I'm taking it for granted. Like, girl, it's my temple, it's my body. Like, I need to get this, really oiled weld machine going. So I was very impressed by that, and that really spoke to me. A lot of, I think Damien also, he was in my team, so he wakes up early too. He said he's been consistent on that. Something I shared is that I'm going to be on the team for it'll be 2 years in February. And though I started small, and I was very shy, I didn't want to do this and do that, but just showing up Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just showing up, and that was I've been consistent. Maybe here and there I'll fall off, but I've been consistent for those 2 years. Just showing up and then talking here allowed me to have more confidence and more courage to talk out there. And then the more I talk there, the more and more I get further along, and then I start doing events. Like, it's been a compound effect of just showing up. That's been my personal one in my business, just showing up. Even in social media, I'm doing my very best here and there, but just showing up,
huge compound effect, like huge. Let me ask you a question, just for context here, Ophelia. How long have you been in the business?
Since 2003 too.
Okay, 2002, 2003. So what was your, and excluding this year, what was your highest performing year for let's just say units?
Oh my goodness. In units, it would have been 23, and that was in 2008.
All right. Since 2009, what's been your biggest year? 2005. After that, what's that?
This year.
All right, cool. So think about this, you guys. It's been a year that she has looked some challenges in the face. She has looked her public speaking dead square in the eyes. She didn't want to be on social media. We have encouraged her and strongly pushed her to get herself on camera and share her beautiful, amazing spirit with the world. And if I'm looking at her numbers right now, and I don't need to share her all of her data with you guys, but I will give you this. In closed volume right now, she's $300 away from $5 million in real estate volume sold in the Bay Area. And pending, she has 1.5 in the pipe, and she's not even done. And she had a couple cancel throughout the year that was about 1.8. But think about that. So that's $5, $6, $7, $8, $9 million of real estate volume in 1 year. And think about all the things that she's been able to do to impact her business, right? And how she's stepped up. And so it is no mystery why you are doing so well, because you're stacking and you're stacking and you're stacking. And the result of it is it's showing up in your business. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm super inspired by Ophelia and everything that she's done. And just seeing you show up on camera, even though you hate being on camera, it's been really powerful to see. So good stuff. I love it. Love it. Let's go, Damian. Let's represent from your group as well, and then we'll start shifting the conversation.
Yeah, Ophelia, she really did a good job explaining what went on in our group. But all I'll add is that you find commonalities when you get to talking to your peers and you show up in these spaces. Like, everybody deals with insecurity. They deal with their own challenges. You might look at people and be like, oh, they're successful, so they're not necessarily dealing with things, but that's not the truth. Like, it's a lot of people on these calls that are afraid to speak that might have just spoken some of these groups for the first time, but we're all able to see commonalities from these things and know that we're a lot more alike than than you like to think. So like, even I was at the office the other day, I talked to Nicole really quickly about making content, and she was saying how nervous she gets, and she was like, oh, you don't deal with that because you're on stage all the time. I'm like, shit, I'm scared every day doing almost everything that I do, but I just learned to move past my fears, like, and whether I look dumb or not, I got to do this stuff. And so again, just finding these commonalities between each other is helpful for me to move past my fears and continue to do that, because we all go through it.
Man, I absolutely love this message. I love it. At the end of the day, you guys, we need to own it. And I don't care if it's something small. I don't care if it is the phone calls, it's the door knocking, because how many of you guys door knocked at one time and were so afraid of door knocking? Like, oh my God, this sucks. This sucks. This sucks. Oh my God, what am I going to say? I'm a sandwich. I don't know what to say. And then you start doing it for a little while. You're like, I actually really like this. I like this. People are actually nice. Not everyone's nice, but you find that one person, and there's this little old lady that's lived there forever, and she just wants to talk with you and have such a warm conversation with you. Like, that's small little marginal gains that are going to have a compound effect over time. Working out, hey, you might not like the body that you have right now. Well, just imagine if you walked for an hour a day, what that would mean for your body, how your legs would look, how you would feel about yourself. And you did this endorphin release every single day, right? Like marginal gains, you guys. And so as you're closing out this year, I want you to look back at all the things that you've done that you can see the results, right? That you can see the results, your email campaigns, your social media, the communication that you've gotten better at, your buyer's consultation, your listing presentation, how many conversations, like, look at all the things and be like, damn, cool. When I really focus on something, I know that I can accomplish the world. And that's what I really want you guys to focus on, your marginal gains. Obviously, we're going into the new year. I want you to reflect, though, and be able to be like, wow, what got me here? What got me here, right? I remember there was a time where people didn't even know me, right? Like, what got me here? And I want you guys to reflect in that moment and be present and be aware of that. So I want to turn the mic over to you guys. Got a few more minutes before we close out. Let's hear about something that you guys did in your business this week that you're super proud of, some action that you took that you want to share. I've seen you guys door knocking. I've seen you guys doing a Halloween event. I know that you guys are doing all kinds of fall events, but I need 3 people in the queue. And somebody said something about somebody talking in the groups. My hope is that if I put you guys into smaller groups, maybe you've never raised your hand, because this is a huge fear for people. Why? Public speaking is a huge fear for people, and this is a form of public speaking. So maybe if we put you guys into smaller groups, you're more apt to communicate and open up, and then you have the confidence to now speak on the bigger stages when everyone else is in the room. My hope is that for all of you. So let's do this. Let's get 3 people. I want to hear the action that you took this week and what were the results. Blessing, let's go to you. I need 2 other people in the queue. Please do not leave me hanging. Blessing, Jessica, and I need 1 other person. Hopefully it's not a usual suspect. Let's go. Blessing first.
Good morning. So the thing that I did this week for intensity, that I was scared of doing the door knocking in my area, but I counted the houses and realized that I needed to just knock on 2 full streets. I printed out my flyer and I just handed it out, and I didn't realize that my neighbors even knew who I was, because like we don't see each other, but just the conversations and like, oh yeah, I see you all the time with your dog. I see you with your kid. I see you running around. I've been missing community and not really realizing I can create it myself. So door knocking for my business, yes, to put myself out there, but those 50 doors let me know, like, okay, now I can keep tabs on people. Now we can start to collaborate and actually get excited about this brand new area that we live in. So that just kind of that opened up so much and just made so many things aware. And I know that I'm stubborn. I didn't realize how stubborn I was when it was like, just go door knock. I'm like, I don't want to. But it's definitely been a good week, and I just have a completely new vision for what my business is in a different way. So the door knocking was it for me this week.
Kicking and screaming, right? Kicking and screaming, but you know what? It actually does something for you. And someone was talking to me yesterday, like, God, I got a workout in. I met some great people. You know, I got used to saying things and getting fluid with my conversation. So blessing, I love the message. Let's go to Jessica and then we'll go over to Nicole Penland. So Jessica Hernandez, hit them.
Okay. So one of the challenges that I faced this past week was sending out the ZMAs. So I was ready to take a strike yesterday. I was like, you know what? I only have 10 people. Like, that's all I have. And then I reached out to Samandy and I was like, hey, like, I see that you finished your ZMAs. Do you have any tips, advice? She sent me a flyer that I could send to renters, and I started a conversation with them. And I was like, okay, I'm probably not sending, like, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do to send out the ZMAs, but at least I'm starting a conversation with someone. So I sent out the flyers and I completed all 20 of them. So that's a win for me. I was ready to take a strike and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to give up. It was 9 p.m. and I was like, I don't care. I'm still going to reach out to people. I'm going to send them a message, and I was able to complete it.
Oh God, I love this. I love this so much. And way to just accomplish everything. And, you know, we won't get too far into the weeds on this, but for every single metric that she needs to hit for this accountability group that she signed up for, she was perfection. She was perfection. And there's a lot of metrics and it's really, really hard. It's really hard. And she's still just grinding it out and figuring it out. So shout out to you. Let's go to Nicole Penland. Let's hear from you. And then we'll start closing out the conversation.
Uh-oh. Yeah, so this week I did the first week of intensity, and it was hard. I had to compound some things, like in order to make sure I saw 15 properties, I did like half condos, so like there might have been a 1-bedroom and a 3-bedroom or something like that. And then also by doing the property tours so that I could just like get in and out. And then that also allowed me to have conversations with the agents there and kind of build those relationships and get more information on the property and what the sellers, situations were and stuff like that. So it took a lot of like kind of just thinking about how to check everything off, but within the time that I had. And last night I was up writing the cards because I was like, I'm gonna finish these cards tonight. But yeah, that was, I'm excited about it, but it was hard.
I'm sure it was. And I'm sure you had to do some type of treatment this week. I'm sure you had to, you're battling all these things, and like, no matter what, she still did it. Right. And it's no secret. We've shared it on Nicole's battling cancer right now. And she still made no excuses. And like, I can't help but to get really emotional when I think about you and the way that you show up still. The fact that she was able to make no excuses, right? When some of us have all the health, we have all the energy, and we still make excuses. And you have someone here that, despite how she feels, being a mom, raising 2 boys, doing dialysis, still takes massive action in their business. You guys, if that's not inspiration for you, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. There's no collection of words that I can say to move you, to inspire you, that is deeper than that. I don't have anything past that. So Nicole, you're an inspiration to all of us. We love you. We're always sending you, positive vibrations, healing prayers, everything that we possibly can. So, and you look really good. I'm just going to be real. You just look really good. Your face looks good. Your color looks good. You just look good. And so, we're all rooting for you. We're all rooting for you. So you guys, let's do this. Let's start to come full circle on this conversation. We'll go to a couple people and get their thoughts and takeaways. Hugo, I'm going to go over to you, big dog. Key thoughts and takeaways from our time together today. Let's hear from you, Hugo. I don't know how to pronounce your last name because I am horrible at my Spanish, but let's go, Hugo.
You're good, man. You're good. Key takeaway here was in my breakout room, and it was just 1%, 1% better. If it's either health, fitness, business, family, whatever it is, don't get too stuck up on what's being thrown at you and stuff like that. It's so easy to focus on the negatives, be hard on yourself. Again, it's good to be hard on yourself, but obviously focus on the positives, on, what we can succeed upon every single day. And waking up is a blessing, take advantage.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It is. We lost a very important person this week in the real estate industry, and a lot of us have had influence from this person. And so you never know. You just never know. So live for right now. Live for the moment. Touch somebody's heart. Do the things that you've always wanted to, because tomorrow that's not promised, right? That's not promised. So I appreciate that message, Hugo. Let's go to Marcelina. Marcelina, key takeaways from our time together today. Let's hear from you. Then I'll come to Jay Singh next. Marcelina,
Okay, I had to unmute myself. So my takeaway today was really, like, you put us in groups. So I know that was like the first time you did that. It was an amazing exercise, and it was very more personal. Sometimes we go on here, including myself, I get scared. I don't want to talk, I don't want to show my face. But that's my compound. I'm not really good at showing my face or talking. And then social media, and a lot of people do business through social media. So that's my compound. My compound was, okay, if I just do stories, maybe 3 or 4 stories a day, try to figure out how to do a reel. I didn't even know how to do a reel, but now I do. But that's my compound. The more I'm throwing myself out there, it's not going to look perfect. I may look funny, but I'm getting better every time. So with this exercise that you did today, we all had similar stories, and now we all feel comfortable because it's all relatable. So thank you so much. That's my takeaway.
God, I love it. So you guys, I have 4 pages of notes because for the morning I have 3 back-to-back meetings. This one, intensity, and then I have a coaching group in Florida. And so every single page has notes, but I'm going to reflect on some notes for my afternoon session or my 11:30 session. Everything always, no matter what, will always start with the action. Whether it's imperfect, it's okay. It's all right. So the action is then going to give you a little bit of that experience, right? Based on that experience, it will give you some feedback, right? How well did I do? What did I say? Where did I fumble over my words? And once you have that feedback, it will now tell you what are the skills that I need to improve upon. But if you never do the thing to get the experience, you're never going to gain the feedback. And that feedback is going to tell you what you need to work on. So everything starts with you at least just doing it. And then you're like, wow, okay. All right. These are some things that I need to improve upon. I don't like my hook. I don't have a hook. I don't have a call to action. I don't have really a purpose for this. Hey guys, I'm just hopping on. Click, I'm done. Right. So it's like you start to refine the things, and I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying I would click off that video. But I love this message, Marcelina. Let's go, Jay Singh. Jay Singh, throw your camera back on, big dog. Let's hear key takeaways from you. And then I'll go to one other person and we'll start wrapping.
Hey, team, what's going on? Jay Singh, you're echoing essentially what's been said, that we all go through it in some way or another. We all get scared. We all confronted with fears, our own anxieties. Myself, I haven't been on camera a lot this past year because I've been going through severe migraine. Have had to go to the ER this year. It's been pretty crappy, and there isn't always an answer why. So for me personally, there may not be an answer, but you have to keep pushing through. I'm an individual who likes to know what's going on, particularly with my health. So to be in this position and to kind of be in the background hasn't been great, but to hear everyone today, it's been such an affirmation of you still, just like Elias just said, you have to start with action. And I'm learning to do that myself again. And I'm very, very grateful to be here and have all the inspiration that's available from around the team.
Well, my man, hopefully you get some type of relief. It's really good to see your face on camera. So you guys remember that obviously, we all have something in our life that we've done that is compounded. And maybe that's your relationships, right? Maybe you're spending a little bit more time at your dinner table, having conversations with the children about their day, not just taking the answer of how was your day? Good. How was school today? Good. I think it's the weakest answer. And I learned that because I'd ask Kai, how was your day? It was good. Okay, cool. And sometimes the conversation would stop there, but I'm like, okay, so what made it good? What was the best part of your day? What was the most challenging thing about cheerleading practice today, right? And allow those conversations to go deeper. So that's a compound effect, right? How you're having your dinners at your dinner table, that's a compound effect. And then you think about it 6 months down the road, how closer is your family, right? Are you having those moments when you talk to your significant other? Like, how was your day? Not just how was your day, like what actually happened in your day? What are you going through? What are you experiencing? Right? I think that we need to have more of those conversations. And then think about your business, right? I saw Jessica Hernandez yesterday. She came on for a business consult, or a buyer consultation workshop. And to hear how she says her consultation versus when she first started, it's a compound effect of how much she's been practicing. And you can hear it, you can feel it, her cadence, her flow, her rhythm. And now she's conscious of ums and ahs and so's and filler words. And as she starts to be conscious of that, a compound effect of that in 3 months from now is that she no longer says ums, ahs, so's, and filler words. So many things to look at in your life that have a compound effect. Fitness is obviously one that we can see immediate results. Your business, but also interpersonally in the relationships that you have, that can be something that you can evaluate and look at the compound effect based on the relationships and the outcomes. So you guys, really good stuff today. We'll do more of these breakout rooms. I'll have you guys maybe, dictate some of those questions, what they will be, and then we'll, break you guys out into your rooms for 10, 15 minutes, because I thought it was really, really effective. And just bouncing from room to room, I was hearing some really, really good stuff. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the people that were in those groups that really kind of were the moderators and the leaders of those groups. And I thank you for that, because a leader will always arise in every situation. So I appreciate you guys. So listen, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I will see you guys Monday. I will see you Wednesday. And then I leave Wednesday night for Singapore and Bali. And so I won't see you for the next 2 Fridays, but I will see you for Monday and Wednesday. And I am just beyond excited to see you guys. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. Go out there and make a change. Do something big. Take some action. As always, keep it moving toward your dreams, goals, and vision. Have an amazing, amazing week. Peace.